Perfect. So good morning. Thanks for tuning in this morning. We'll jump right into the packet. Cash bids were from yesterday. I know we had a little bump up in action. We had the acreage and stocks report come out yesterday. That kind of had our futures market a little more activity than we've seen lately on it. It was mostly price positive. If you're looking at the board, we were trading in green numbers. Had quite the little rally, about 20 cents, kind of fell off from those highs. July contract closed at about 13 cents up for the day. Today, we do not have futures markets. Those of you that have your morning routine where you usually check in on that stuff on TV, no futures markets. Good Friday today. However, usually that means that we won't have any cash markets, but MCP will have a cash market today. Sounds like the boss sold some wheat yesterday, so we can afford to buy some today. We don't have to worry about hedging it off on futures markets or anything else. So we'll see what he comes up with for pricing like that, or if he's just advertising the fact he's open during a closed market. But anyway, we let's just take a look on page 3 there. That quarterly estimate. That left-hand column is going to be what the numbers that actually came out on your stocks and your prospective plantings. That middle column, that average trade estimate, that's kind of where everybody in the industry, all these analysts, everybody that dabbles in the stuff, where their estimate was. So you take a look up there at stocks, you can see corn came in, USDA had it pegged a little bit lower, soybeans right on pace, and wheat was slightly higher than what the trade was estimating. That right there, you would imagine you're going to have, except for corn, that was going to give you your strength yesterday and probably fed fuel to spill over to soybeans and wheat. Taking a look at your prospective plantings, they call it that just because, a lot of the Midwest is planting in the springtime. So you've got your corn acres are down from the estimate. Soybeans are right on pace. All wheat slightly higher. Winter wheat is lower than what the trade estimated, but obviously that's offset then with the spring wheat plantings a little bit higher. So we'll see. This will be something that everybody will be tracking now, and we'll start getting the crop condition reports every week coming out now, the planting progress, all that stuff. So the markets will be watching those and trading those so we can get some weather trading and things like that happening. What's been happening since we were on here 2 weeks ago and I was talking the doom and gloom. Page 4 is on your summary of the export sales report that came out yesterday. Just a few numbers I want to hit on that one is we continued to see, let's take a look at the SRW column up there on the top. You can see that the week for 3/7 and 3/14, we had those big negative numbers. Those are the effects of the China cancellations that we talked about. That was that wheat out of the Gulf months ago that traded. We kept waiting for it to ship. It hadn't. People started getting nervous, and then we started getting the cancellation notices. So that's the big negative numbers. There, we take a look over though. Take a look at the current week. Not a whole lot happened on SRW. White wheat, pretty strong week. 4.7 million bushels. And then take a look down at that bottom number, new crop sales, 7.9. Those numbers aren't included in your the information up on top, because the information on top is old crop or current crop, and new crops down below. So some pretty hefty sales there. What we saw coming into the market, kind of away from the routine ordinary business, was some feed wheat. And we'll flip back through here in a minute and take a look there and see where that stuff was trading to. It's not going to be labeled feed wheat or anything like that, but that's kind of the You know, this market felt like we were in a free fall. Last time we met 2 weeks ago, we'd lost $1 off your cash price in 1 month time frame. And you know, most of that was just driven by no demand. Obviously, we'll keep beating up the fact that Russia keeps dropping, you know, values and the world's trying to drop to chase them. And we had to do that without demand. But now that we've had a little bit of demand come back into the market, I did kind of hear some rumors of, you know, some potential new other business yesterday as well. So it's nothing that's gonna cause a big rally, but it's, I think, gonna help kind of sustain us where we're at here for a little bit and give us a little support. The good thing, you know, in say a co-op's perspective or any grain handling company upriver, these feed wheat tenders, a lot of times they don't have a protein spec on them. And so to where there's a lot of high protein wheat upriver, I mean, it can be competitive then on trying to sell that stuff because everybody's got it. They want to get rid of it ahead of harvest, especially, you know, take a look at everybody's talking about our moisture profile right now. Dad says he can't do anything because it's too muddy out there in the fields. And I'm hearing lots of rumors of over 10 inches for the crop year so far. So, you know, with the anticipation of a decent crop coming on, we've been talking all year about, you know, farmer selling being slow, which in turns means the co-op can't sell it. So then if you're looking at, you know, somewhat full elevators rolling into harvest and you got a bunch of high protein left, if it's only 10-5 business that's out there to be had, it kind of makes it hard to sell that. So getting some ordinary bids in the market for some of this feed wheat is, I feel pretty fortunate. It's good timing. Allows us to get some bin space because if things continued as they were with a straight 10-5 bid, it was getting pretty hard. I mean, we were blending low protein from not this last harvest, but the one before that. We'd had rat hold away that trying to make, you know, 10-5 and 11-0 barges. It's worked so far, but that stuff can only hold on so long when you're using it to blend. So that'll be good. I know we worked on a few sales and got some barges going. So at least we'll have one bin open for Zach at Biggs when he starts harvesting this year. If Steve doesn't beat him to it. So with that, let's flip back and just see where the white wheat was going. It's going to be on page 10, or actually that's soft red. There was really no activity there. We flip around here to page 11 and those 7+ million bushels we saw on the new crop sales, most of that was all to South Korea. And again, I just want to reiterate, it's not necessarily our new crop that would be hitting the bin. That's going to be stuff that's, you know, a June shipment period because the USDA marketing year ends May 31, same as MCP's fiscal year. So any sales in June, obviously they're not going to be quote unquote our new physical crop that comes in, but it's considered marketing year. So, which is always nice to have that, you know, little bit of demand and stuff to ship, kind of that bridge between May and new crop coming in. So, I guess that would probably, you know, like I said, old crop we're pretty much wrapped up for the year on. I don't anticipate any more big sales. Was kind of happy to see that the number that we did see this week at 4.7. I didn't know if we'd get that amount the rest of the marketing year. So see it pop up in 1 week is always good. And a good, you know, majority of that was to South Korea as well, with a little bit of routine Japanese business. So only other thing, it's a little bit older article I threw in the back there, just kind of continuing to talk. This is actually from US Wheat Analyst. I see emails come across from her all the time, but it was an article, I think it was in the Capital Press regarding just the huge amount of Russian exports this year. And like I said, I don't like to get political and say where all that wheat's coming from, but I doubt it's all Russian origin. But regardless, it's hitting the market and it's hitting the market cheap. So you've got to try to compete with it. With that, it's quiet out there in cyber world. I think I scare everybody when I hit that recording button. But I'll flip it over to Jacob and we'll see what's going on with OSU.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody in Morrow and on Zoom land here. Just want to start off by saying that OSU is definitely has some help wanted currently here at the Sherman Station. There's kind of been a mess, but finally um, OSU the OSU Experiment Station staff have recognized that they need to rehire Kyle Bender's position. So that position is actually posted now. So if you know anybody who would be interested in that position, please send them to me or have them look on the OSU website and they should be able to see it pop up there. Also just want to say thank you to people on the liaison committee who came to our meeting last week and help nudge them in the right direction to refill that position. So it's been vacant since last November, essentially. So finally getting that position filled, hopefully we can find the right person for that position and that would work great. On another note, OSU Extension, Wasco, Sherman counties, we're looking for some interns this summer. They're pretty flexible with hours too. I mean, if you've got students at OSU that help you during harvest, I mean, we're pretty flexible. If student need to help people with wheat producer for a couple of weeks in there with harvest, we could definitely be flexible with some of that as well. So just letting people know that in the past we've had some good interns and our the internship program. I think we have till the middle of April to find for people to apply. So that's why we're just getting a little desperate that we haven't had many people apply yet this year. So hoping to get some good college interns to help with kind of a variety of projects. I'm definitely looking for one intern that would just be working with myself this summer with a lot of the research projects I have going on with the different wheat projects. So just to let you know on that. Other updates with extension programming and events. Just reminding people again that Tri-County Hazardous Waste and Recycling Program, they are holding this triple rinse container disposal event. So basically, if you got a bunch of pesticide containers and you want to get rid of by doing something other than possibly lighting them on fire or burying them. So May 29th, which is a Saturday, May 29th in the Dalles at the Dalles Disposal, they're having a triple rinse container recycling event. So basically, you show up with your container triple rinsed without the label on it and without the plastic cap on it anymore. And I believe basically they're going to have a plastic chipper there that's going to chop them down in little pieces and they can easily get rid of it. So it's a free event, but they do want people to register ahead of time just so they have an idea of how many containers to expect that they're going to be dealing with. So just letting you know on that. Again, that's Saturday, May 29th. If you got triple rinse containers, please consider taking them to Dalles Disposal. Also have dates set for the crop tours coming up this year. So we're looking at Tuesday, June 4th for the Sherman County crop tour. So that's going to start in Morrow, probably at 8:30 like we usually do. Then the next week, we've got several experiment station field days. So June 11th is going to be the Pendleton field day. And then June 12th is going to be the Sherman Experiment Station Day in Morrow here. And then the next day on June 13th, I'm going to be doing the crop tour in Wasco County. So we're going to jump over to Dufur there on Thursday, June 13th, starting at 8:30 for the crop tour there. So again, Sherman County crop tour on Tuesday, June 4th. June 12th is going to be back and more for the Experiment Station Field Day. And then June 13th will be the Wasco County crop tour. So finally have those dates set there. Other update is unfortunately not everybody may or may not be aware of this, but there's new pesticide regulations with EPA, the whole Endangered Species Act stuff that now they have this whole new Bulletins 2 Live program. And so there's been a lot of confusion on that lately. I myself have also been confused on some of this, but essentially the whole point of this is that basically you would look at your pesticide label for the product you're applying. If you need to worry about Bulletins 2 Live, there should be some comment on needing a bulletin somewhere in that pesticide label, typically under basically you go for directions for use, and there should be a section on environmental hazards. And under that section, if there is a concern with a EPA listed species, you should be able to see something under there that mentions that you need a bulletin. So if you see it somewhere under that environmental hazard section says you need a bulletin, that's then when you have to basically go online, Google EPA Bulletins 2 Live, it'll pop up. And then unfortunately, then you're going to have to essentially get to a map to basically there's a program that you click on a map, zoom into an area that you're going to be applying your pesticide on. And then you have to type in the EPA registration number that's on the label for that product, type that in there, and then basically it's going to tell you if there's an area of concern with this particular pesticide. It should show you. And then the whole point of this is basically you just find the map, you verify that, yes, I can apply this product here without dealing about a PULA, which is basically the PULA is basically an area that you'd be concerned with the listed species. So around here, basically, that's where you have a waterway where you would have a salmonid species. And a lot of the products that I've looked at in this program that basically you type in that registration number and often that PULA goes away. So it's like most of the chemicals that we're using aren't of concern anyways. But unfortunately, EPA still wants you to print off this map verifying that, yes, it's safe to apply this product where you intend to apply it. And then that map is basically good for any pesticide applications for the rest of that month. My understanding is once you do that, it's good for about, you're supposed to do this 6 months, within 6 months of the pesticide application. So for example, you can't do this when you're applying something next fall at this point, but we're getting close to that you could possibly be doing that. So the good news is the majority of the products that you guys are applying, if you look at the most updated label, if it doesn't say anything about the Bolton in there, you don't have to do it. Unfortunately, EPA is renewing the registration on basically every single pesticide that we would be using. And so don't be surprised that basically next year you might be having to do a Bolton's 2 live thing for basically every product you might be applying. But for now, a lot of the products you guys are applying, I've done some homework, and like Anthem Flex, for example, is saying that you need a Bolton on it, but a lot of the other products, I don't see it, the verbiage indicating that you need to worry about this yet. And in the chat, Amy Kaiser made a great comment that yes, Oregon Wheat Growers League did a great wheat talk on Bolton's 2 Live. So if you go to the Oregon Wheat Growers League website, if you go under events or look around somewhere up there, they do have a recording of that available that you can look at. So unfortunately, I know some people will watch that recording and it still doesn't make sense to them. So that's why I was just trying to give a basic summary right now. So anyways, if you got questions about this, let me know. I'm going to put something in the newsletter, try to clarify this for people too. So anyways, I'm sorry. It's just one of those things I'm trying to be the messenger on, and it's not a very good message, unfortunately. But that's all I've got.
Perfect. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for the little bit of the homework and legwork on that. So does anybody else out there have anything? Mike, good to see you this morning. You're brave enough to turn your camera on even. Might have to send you a hat though to cover that head up or something. We'll have to see. Anybody else? I guess with that, I'll go ahead and dismiss class and we'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.